Hello, welcome to Resin Rockers. We're going to be doing a memorial piece today using UV resin, glitter, some human ashes, and a wood carved piece by Decal Ranch. And these ashes are actually from my dad who passed away this year. This is a great way to remember someone, and it's a great gift. We're using Ruby Slippers microfine glitter, a great red, and the Resin Rockers pocket lamp and pocket lamp stand to start our cure. We're going to start with the Resin Rockers original formula, UV resin, and I did warm my resin just a little bit just to make it a little bit more runny. And we're going to go ahead and use our pigment spoon measuring stick. This is a great way to just use what you need. And if you want the ashes to show a little bit more and have a little more definition, try to pick out some pieces that have the bone fragments in them because you'll be able to see them through the glitter. They'll kind of stand out. I did about 3 scoops in order to fill in the cardinal, and now we're going to just dash in some glitter. You want it to still be a soupy texture. You don't want it too thick, so just add a little bit of glitter. You can always add more. Stir it up really, really well. Those ashes will fall to the bottom, so just make sure before you do the pour that you've stirred them up so that they're kind of toward the top. Now we're going to work in sections here. So I'm going to pour into the largest feather section of this cardinal, and then we're going to spread it out and making sure that you only go to the edge of the wood. It is a little bit hard to get the resin off the wood if it starts to saturate in because the wood is so porous. So we want to make sure that we're moving slowly and really taking our time adding this resin in sections. So we're going to start with the wing. We're going to gently tap it into place, and you want to let it rest for a little bit because, again, being porous, it's going to soak up some of this resin. We also want to make sure that we leave enough room for a top coat. Now I'm going to use the pocket lamp to set this in place, and then we'll do a full cure with the MagicCure lamp once this is done. Now we're moving on to the body. So we're going to go ahead and follow the same procedure. You're going to make sure that you're stirring up those ashes and resin before you do the pour. This will ensure, again, that those ashes, the bigger remains, are going to kind of show through the top, because then you can tell whoever you're giving this to, or even if it's for yourself, that you can actually see the ashes in it, and it just makes it so much more special. So we're just slowly adding in more resin throughout this piece, and instead of pouring when I get to the smaller parts, I'm just picking up a little bit of resin with my silicone brush. That way I have a little bit more freedom to do some detail because I don't want to go outside of the lines, and it's really, really easy to over pour when you're doing these smaller sections. So I always tend to use my silicone brush instead of pouring directly from the cup. So I'm just laying this resin in. I'm trying to pick up a little bit of bone fragments here and there, but for the most part, just making sure that I get that glitter and that redness down into the cardinal piece. Moving on to the tail, we're going to follow the same procedure. We're just going to slowly pick up some resin with our silicone brush and lightly dab it into these sections to ensure that we don't get any outside of the line. So we're just going to take our time and slowly get it into these little feathered areas, just enough to show the red, and then you can add little pieces of the ashes if you want to. But again, don't overfill it because we will be doing a top coat. The top coat will not only protect everything, but it will really bring out the definition of the ashes and the color of the glitter. So we want to leave enough room to pour that clear coat on top here. So we're going to add a little bit of heat before we cure. That way we can ensure that we're getting rid of all the bubbles. And then we're using the pocket lamp to go ahead and set our resin. So I've adjusted my lamp stand up a little bit so that it can cure the entire top portion of this cardinal at the same time. Now I went ahead and used a green glitter with some bone fragments for these leaves, and you can just take these leaves and fill them in at your leisure, just taking your time. I definitely don't recommend pouring any of them because they definitely will go outside of the lines. I'm not doing anything with the branches. I'm just going to let the natural wood burning show through. That really brings the attention to the ashes and the glitter, which is what you want with this piece. Once you're finished, we're going to take the MagicCure and we're going to go in at 60 seconds, 36 watts, and give this a full, nice rock hard cure. And then we're taking our UV resin original formula and we're just going to pour it into these areas to top coat it and make it nice and shiny. And I did add a little bit of orange acrylic paint to the beak just to make that kind of stand out, and it looks really, really nice. Now I'm going to add a little bit of heat to make sure there aren't any air bubbles, and then we're going to use the MagicCure, but we're going to cure slowly. We're going to start at 6 watts, and every 10 seconds we're going to bump it up in wattage until we get to the 36 watts, and then do a minute at 36 watts. And this is what it looks like when you're done. It looks so beautiful. You can see the ashes in there. It's a great gift.